turn on. Is that what it says?
Hello to everybody that's joining us. Just going to give it a minute and see if we get a few more on. Don't forget to like and share. Let's get this video out there a bit more, please.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, how are we all doing tonight, folks? Are we all enjoying lockdown? You have to excuse the bristle here, I'm afraid. This is the lockdown look for me. And Jane's not had a show for about 5 days either. So I thought we'd have a chat. Hello, can you give me a shout to my son Declan Collingwood, please? Hello, Declan. How are you doing? I hope he's well. Hope you all are. Hi, Bex.
Hi, Bex. Hi, Declan.
Hi, Trish. Hello, Lindsay.
Hi, Trish. Hi, Lindsay.
Give us a share if you would, please. So I thought what I'd do tonight is just have a little chat about where I started with the paranormal. And it started at a pretty young age, really. At the age of 11, I saw my nan 2 weeks after she'd passed. She just appeared in the corner of the room. I didn't see my nan for a couple of months before she passed because she had cancer, and my mum didn't want me to see her because she was a mess. So I didn't actually see what she was buried in. When I told my mum that I'd seen my nan, she was very sceptical, obviously, and she just asked, well, what was she wearing? And I described exactly what she'd been buried in. So that kind of convinced my mum that I wasn't just making stories. I'd actually seen her. So that was my very first experience at the age of 11, and I've had quite a few different ones through the years, but the one that really kind of shook me up lasted quite a few years, a long period of time, because I used to teach martial arts many years ago, and we used to train in a place in Cheadle called Abney Hall, and it's a beautiful building. We were in the grounds training, and collectively, it wasn't just myself, there was a large group of us that were experiencing things on a regular basis, things such as beings with red eyes, different sized things that would kind of I don't really want to use the word teleport, but they'd be in one place at one time and split second later somewhere else, which I know that can be put down as teleportation, but it was very, very freaky the way that the things that happened down there. And the worst experience for me, everybody had a story, everybody experienced something different down there, but the thing that freaked me out the most was we were training one night, and we used to kind of do a stealth game. It's like a hide and seek, and we split up to go to different areas, and I snuck into some bushes, and the way it used to work, we'd ambush each other, get into a fight. It was a point scoring type thing, and whoever got the most points won, and the other person was out. So I'm in these bushes waiting to sort of ambush somebody, and I heard some noise, so I'm thinking, right, here's one of the guys now, and I jumped out, and there's something in front of me about 5 foot away, and I take up the stance, I'm ready to go, and it was pitch black. It really was pitch black, and this thing that was stood in front of me, round about my height, suddenly started to grow, and before my very eyes it reached about 8 foot, and these bright red eyes suddenly looked at me, and I was absolutely terrified, and I turned and I ran as fast as I could. I don't think Mo Farah or Usain Bolt, if that's his name.
Yeah.
Yes, could have caught me. I was going pretty fast, and what was frightening was I could hear whatever it was that was behind me chasing, and it was boom, 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 boom. It was moving fast, but thankfully not as fast as I was moving. And I jumped over a very high wall, rolled, sort of got myself where I was now. It was lit. I could see what was going on, and I stood up, and I'm ready to see, what it was that I was about to encounter, and there was nothing there. So it was quite surreal, but that was just one of the occasions. Another time, one of the guys, I don't even want to use the word possessed, but something happened to him, and he went absolutely crazy, and he started attacking everybody, and it took 8 of us to pin him down. Now he was a chunky lad, but 8 of us to actually pin him down, and he kind of settled for a second, and then he just threw us all off in one go. I mean, we all went about 4 foot up in the air, and he stood up ready to go. And I'm afraid I had to hit him hard to put him down. But that was a frightening experience. 8 people to pin one person down. No drugs involved before anybody starts thinking, oh, he's on smack. No, nobody did drugs. And that was a bit, that was a bit frightening. We had a lot of weird experiences. It actually made it into a book. If anybody's heard of Jenny Randalls, she wrote a book, or wrote a chapter in her book called Mind Monsters, and it was in there. Some of the stuff that happened. The only problem was she took it third hand account from somebody that sort of came in at the back end of what was going on. So she didn't really get the facts, and when she was approached to have be told what was going on from day one, she wasn't interested. And she's an investigator, so you'd think you want the truth. I can tell you exactly what's happened, but at this point, she published the book. She wasn't interested in finding anything else out, but it was quite interesting. She was very sceptical about what she was being told, understandably. But when she went to interview other people independent to my group, people were clamming up. There were people that worked at Abney Hall. There was a caretaker. He had experiences totally independent to us. And he told her, some of the stuff. She spoke to some of the office workers that were working in Abney Hall. People would clam up. They didn't want to talk about it, which lends to the possibility that they had some sort of experiences, didn't want to discuss it. And strangely, not long before its peak, there was a very strange kind of sonic boom down in that area, and it more or less finished when that sonic boom happened. But there was a lot of things that went on just a few days prior to that, whereby we were, I was down there trying to see what was going on, and yeah, freaky stuff. I don't want to sort of stretch the plausibility of your imaginations, and I think that we're out there a bit wacky. Just some very, very strange things that go on within heaven and earth, as I'm sure we all appreciate and know. So just a quick shout out to a few people. How are we doing, Danny? Lisa, nice to see you. Sharon, Simon, hi. Hi, Steph.
Wendy.
Doreen, Karina, Bobby. Hiya, Bobby. How are you doing? Lee's on. Thank you for joining us. Nice to see you. Hope you're all well. I've lived in a few haunted buildings as well, and I had a property not far from a place called the Bamford Arms, which is on the A6 in Stockport. The house was a mess when I got it, and pretty much for a while lived out of one room. And nothing ever happened in that house apart from one particular night, and it was very, very weird. Now, I don't know how everybody feels about cellars. I don't mind them so much, although when I was younger, the house that I grew up in, we had a cellar, and it creeped me out, something rotten. But this house on the A6 had a cellar, and it was just full of junk. Not mine. Guy that had it before me, it was all full of his junk. I never did anything with it, just left it down there. And one thing I have a problem with is open doors. I can't sleep with an open door. It doesn't even matter if it's a wardrobe door. I can't sleep with any sort of open door. So this cellar door, again, daft as it might sound, I had to put a hook on it to make sure it was closed. It stayed closed. Hi Trish, how you doing? Hi Jeffrey. So this one particular night, my partner at the time and myself, we'd gone to bed, and we hear this bang downstairs. Automatically, someone's trying to break in. So I go downstairs. I'm not. Yeah, you keep saying hello. I'm not scared.
Hi,
Went
Lindsay.
downstairs.
Hi Trish. Hi, Sharon.
Good old Stockport. I don't like cellars. Weird places they are. Bit of a strange feeling. Totally agree with you. So I went downstairs. Everything's fine. Nothing out of place. So I'm thinking, I wasn't in my house. It must have been next door or something. Went up back to bed. About 5 minutes later, we hear this louder bang. So I go downstairs again. This time when I went into the kitchen, the cellar door's open. Now, bearing in mind, I've got a catch on it. That cellar door's wide open. Heckles go up on my neck. I'm thinking, oh, what's going on here? There's no way to get into that cellar from outside. The only way in is through the cellar door and down the steps. So reluctantly I go down that cellar and I have a look, and there's nothing there. Fair enough. Go back up and I put the catch back on the door. I'm just going up the stairs and I hear this cellar door go again, and it's a slam. It's a loud slam. And instead of running back down the stairs to see what was going on, I ran up the stairs because I think I don't want any of this. And I went into the bedroom. And I'm going, oh, jeez, I'm scared. I really was scared because I didn't know what it was. So we both went down, pushed her forward first, as you do. And the cellar door is not just open now, it's off a hinge. So it's swung open and it's up. And the freezing cold that's coming up from this cellar now, we're stood at the top of this cellar, and it's just like someone's got an ice machine blasting it up those stairs. It was freezing. So I can't shut this door now. So I say, I think we need to go and lock ourselves up in the bedroom. So as we turn to leave, I would have left the property. Well, hang on, Sharon.
So would I, love.
Hang on a second. Don't preempt me. So we start going back upstairs, and the next thing I hear, bang, 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 bang. And it sounds like this cellar door is slamming back and forth on its one hinge. And I said, right, that's it, we're going. And we were literally in our pyjamas, got out onto the curb, phoned a taxi, and we went and stayed at hers. I came back the next day and the door is completely off its hinges at the bottom of the cellar steps, and there's nothing else. There's no explanation. Not got a clue what was going on with that at all to this day. And it was just that one night. I was very reluctant to stay there again, but that was a frightening experience. So then, moving forward, because I've had a few, I had a business in Altrincham. It was a catering business, and we had living accommodation above the shop. Now, it always had a good feel to me. I didn't feel, there was anything bad about the place, and the story I'm going to tell you wasn't particularly bad either. But one of our staff...
Hi, Joanne. Hi, Bear.
Hi, Bear. Hi, Mari. Is it Mari? If it's a thumbs up for Mari.
Yeah, I think it's...
Because I don't want to miss...
M-H. Mari. I think it's Mari.
Is it Mari? Just
Hi,
give me a
Mari.
thumbs up if it's Mari. Am I saying it right? I don't think you can do a thumbs
Hi,
down.
Francis.
Anyway, I was working the doors in Manchester. Hang on, no, sorry, I've gone too far. We had a member of staff, and the toilet was on the first floor. So on one occasion, hey, hello, Lindsay.
Oh, she lives
Lovely
in
place.
Altrincham.
It was Broadheath, not far
nice.
from the ice rink. This member of staff had gone up to the toilet to use the toilet, and when she came out, she said she'd seen... Well, she went downstairs and said to my partner at the time,
Hi, Lisa.
she said,
Yes,
I've just...
we're doing fine.
who's the woman upstairs? Who's the old lady upstairs? And she said, well, there isn't anybody upstairs. She said, well, I've just come out and seen an old lady walking along the landing. So, you know, that was a little bit freaky. Didn't think anything more of it. We had a young lad that used to work for us on a Saturday, and he was serving a customer one dinner time, and they're just having a chat over the counter, and the sugar bowl starts spinning all on its own. They're both watching this sugar bowl spin, and this poor lad took his penny off. That was it. He finished, never came back. So that was a little bit unnerving. I was working in Manchester, and my partner at the time was upstairs, and she heard footsteps coming up the stairs at about 10 o'clock, and she thought it was me. I wasn't going to be home till much later, till 2 in the morning, but she thought for some reason I'd come home early, and she heard footsteps coming up the stairs and then coming along the landing right up to the door to the living room. And it was a glass door to the living room, and there was nobody there, but she'd heard all the way up to the door the footsteps, but there was nobody there. I was in the...
Jump in a minute.
Yep, sure.
Hi Sharon, would you go on an adventure?
The workhouse on Shore Heath, the one at Shore Heath.
We would love to have gone there, wouldn't we? We
Yeah,
would love to have done
the workhouse now. It's been bought by the college, I believe. They've done it all up, and now it's just sat empty. For whatever reason, they seem to have concentrated on doing a new build for the college, and that particular building, the old workhouse, is just sat doing nothing. And to be honest, that annoys me with empty buildings when you've got so many people out on the streets homeless. It's one of our pet hates. Can't, you know, in this day and age, nobody should be out on the streets, and especially with the current climate right now. I know councils are doing a lot at the moment to get people off the streets and in hotels and what have you, but what happens afterwards? What's going to happen to them afterwards? You know, it shouldn't be a case of it's a temporary measure. So yeah, but the old workhouse, it's inaccessible. They do have security checking it regularly. It's not worth the risk. I know there's some people that are going out even right now doing lives. We were actually going to go and sit out in the garden and you know, fool you that we were out investigating, breaking curfew and lockdown and all the rest of it, but we're not that stupid. I think it's
Stay
it's
safe,
wrong.
guys. Stay in.
So just going back to the story, so would you do Cornish Hall? I've done Cornish Hall. It's now literally a shell of what it used to be. There's nothing inside. In fact, you can see through the upper floor windows, and you can see the rafters. It's just empty. So I don't know what happened there. It's a shame. It's another waste of a gorgeous building. But I have done Cornish Hall. Great place. Lovely atmosphere there. I'm jealous of ghosts now. They can go where they want to.
We have to wait for 3 to 6
Well,
months.
I tell you what, just have a think about the rest that they're having, because every weekend they get, you know, lots of visitors like ourselves, and right now they're probably going, oh, thank God for that, we can have a holiday. Yeah, definitely not worth the risk, mate. Jeep safe.
Keep safe.
Yeah, I'll just... So I was in the living room one afternoon, broad daylight, and this this overwhelming perfume smell just came into the room. The door was shut to the living room, and it was just such a fragrant smell. And I went out of the living room downstairs. I just went down to see if perhaps an air freshener or something had been sprayed, and I was told no, nobody had been upstairs. So I said, come up here, see if it's still there and you can smell it. I love it when you say shine a light. Thank you. I've noticed it's all over Facebook at the moment. So I took my partner upstairs. We went to and it was still there. You could still smell this odour, this perfume, and then it just went. Just as quickly as it had come, it just went. It must have lasted 2 or 3 minutes, and then it just went. But the most freaky experience that hi Paul, would you please say hi to daughter Sian? She's 10. Hi Sian.
Hi Sian.
Glad you enjoy the show. She finds it hilarious when Say shine a light when you're scared. Yeah. Hang on a second. Shine a light. Hi, Sean. That was for you, love. I told you off last year once as a joke for swearing once, and he says that ever since. Yeah, well, I'm well trained.
Do you believe your loved ones show themselves when they pass? Yes, definitely.
Well, yeah, as I said at
about your nan, didn't you?
Yeah, said at the beginning of this, I saw my nan 2 weeks after she passed. It took 22 years, I think it was, for my nan to come forward to speak to my mum. She got a message from a medium at one of these psychic fairs, and she wasn't there for a reading. She actually just had a stall, and there was somebody doing a reading, like a stage thing. And this other woman came up and she said, "I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I've got to go and say something to this lady." Went straight to my mum, and then just gave her all this information, which was spookily accurate about my nan. So it took about 22 years for my nan to come through to her. But yes, completely. If they're of a mind to come and see you, and the conditions are right, then yes, I do believe that they'll come and see you and let you know that they're okay.
You have one from Bear there.
Yeah.
Hi, Bear.
You and your bathroom investigations are what I love, Paul. And Jane, love when you are on the other side of the camera investigating as well.
Oh, do you remember that one? Yeah, I remember that.
We do get some
we do have
great
some
places.
fun,
Yeah.
We do.
I'm not going to say what they are. I'll just say the Shine a Light investigations.
Well, there's other people
Can you get
there,
into St Joseph's Orphanage in Preston? I tried a few years ago, and it was really difficult to find anybody to talk to. If anybody knows anybody for contact at St Joseph's Orphanage in Preston,
we'd love to do that.
please let me know. Yeah,
we'd love to do that. Wendy, get on it.
So the one that freaked me out the most in this place that we were living in Altrincham was I'd been working, came home 2:00 in the morning, went to bed, and I'd gone off, and even that door didn't close properly, and I put a catch on it, paranoid, and I'd gone to bed. I was asleep, and then it just, when you feel that somebody else in the room with you. I knew my partner was there, wasn't Jane. I knew she was there, but it felt like there was somebody else there, and I was awake, I was aware, and the next thing, the duvet cover came up, and it felt like somebody sort of slid on and lay on top of me. There was that pressure, but not only that, the duvet cover was up, as if there should have been another body there that I could see. Something had got in bed and lay on top of me, and that pressure was very, very real. And I have to say, I did swear, because I said, get off, get the Shine a Light off.
I think he enjoyed it.
It was brief. It's over too quick. And the duvet just sort of like, the air had come out of, if you like, it just came back onto my body. And I lay there for a second, and I shot up. I used to have something at the side of the bed for protection. Opened the door because it wasn't open. Nobody had come in, so I had to take the catch off, open the door, and I went through that building top to bottom, fully well aware I wasn't going to find anybody, but for your peace of mind, you think, I've just been assaulted, violated, whatever, something has just happened. And I went through that building, couldn't find anything. And that was me for the rest of the night. Went and sat in the living room for the rest of the night. When my partner got up a few hours later, she came in and she said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Nothing's okay." And she said, "Tell me." So I told her, and she said, "Oh my God," she said, "I thought somebody got into bed with me last week while you were at work." So it wasn't just me that had that experience, but that was probably the most frightening. It put the wind up me. Let's have a look at what's being said here.
My daughter had someone following her, but it's not.
Yeah. My daughter has someone following her, but it's not a sinister one. Many people have seen it in places we have lived, but it seems to have followed her no matter where we have moved to. Made itself known as I've been seen, but never done anything nasty or moved anything. Just thought I'd share that with yourselves. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's your favourite bit of kit? I've got some kit here. I'll show you a few bits in a few minutes. What's that, Bobby? Hey, Paul, been a long time. Hope you're well. I'm not too bad, Bobby. Hope you are. Hope you're staying safe amid this madness. Just trying to get. It's not.
It's not letting
You'll
you
have to
on it.
wait till it goes up a little bit. So those were some of the things that happened to me before I kind of got into it full time, if you like. One of the craziest things that's happened as I've been an investigator, I was part of a paranormal group. It was the first group I joined. Great group. And we got a chance to go and investigate a place in Liverpool called Collins Bridewell. Collins Bridewell was an old police station. Its claim to fame was Charles Dickens was a special guest constable there for a while. When we went, it was a trendy wine bar and restaurant. Gorgeous building. The seating area downstairs, it was all the cells, and the cell doors were still intact. You know, it was all the same. Better seating, obviously. You know, padded tables and everything. And I think there were 3 cells on the left which had were all done out with proper seating, and there were cells on the right, and it was a slightly different layout for that side. But we went a few times, and it was absolutely amazing. The first time that we went, we had some members of staff with us, and we had the manager, and we've been doing a séance. We shut ourselves into one of these cells, and we're doing a séance, calling out and what have you. And it was the typical, you know, if someone's there, can you give us a sign? And the next thing, the phone started ringing, which was brilliant. Everybody cracked up because, you know, obviously we're getting a phone call from the dead. Everybody was laughing apart from the manager. And when everybody calmed down, you know, we all sort of looked at him, and he said that it's good, but that phone isn't plugged in.
Mm.
And at that point, everybody's face just, what? So we had to go and check. And when we got to the bar where the phone was, it wasn't plugged in. That phone had been ringing without being plugged in, which was pretty impressive. But it got better at this place. It was quite amazing. We were doing a séance in one of the cells again. There's about 14 of us in this cell. It was cramped, it was tight. There was never enough room to get a camera in because you just couldn't, you know, wide angle at this point really wasn't available, if you like, I don't think, for the regular camcorders that we had. So we just had a voice recorder in there. We had the audio of what happened, but I was leading the séance, and whatever was there, it always felt like it'd come forward and then step back, come forward, step back. It was very tentative, and it was a child.
Hi, Margaret.
But hi, Margaret. Hi, Alison. So it was going backwards and forwards, and I was trying to close this séance down when we heard the bolt on one of the doors slam. Either shut. Well, we'd locked all the doors. We'd put the bolts across, so we'd heard this bolt go. So obviously it was outside to one of the doors, and everybody that was in the building was in this room with us. Nobody moved because I didn't want to push it. I thought if we get up and break what's going on, break the energy, it's going to stop. So we kept going. Unless they died there, they were stuck there. Quite well, yeah. I'll get to that. So I again threatened to you know, shut this séance down, and the next thing I felt like this rush of energy. Now we're holding hands. I've got a lady on my left, I've got a lady on my right. I'm holding hands. Everybody is in this like horseshoe. We're all holding hands during this séance, and I felt like this rush of energy towards me. And the next thing, I'm standing up. I've got hold of these ladies' hands, but I'm standing up, and I'm not necessarily doing it voluntarily. I'm going up, and I'm going up, and I'm up against the wall. One of the guys that was sat across from me is kicking under my feet, saying he's off the floor, he's off the effing floor, because, you know, my feet were off and he could kick underneath them. Everybody on that side could see these twinkly lights around my neck, and I'm going through this what I interpret as a hanging. You know, we've got the audio. I'll see if I can dig it out and put it on here so you can have a listen. A little bit of swearing there. I apologise in advance. But this lasted for about 10, 15 seconds, and then it just stopped, and it was literally like somebody had cut a rope, because I just dropped straight down. I was pouring in sweat. I had to be carried out of this room. But it, you know, it was a little bit frightening. But as we expanded on what had happened, it seemed like it was a child that had been hung for stealing a potato or something completely insignificant way back in the early 1800s. And it, you know, it was a trauma. So yeah, I do believe that that child, Lee, was still there, going through whatever he'd gone through for stealing a potato. And I had pushed and pushed and pushed to find out who he was and what had happened, and he showed me, literally, because I went through this hanging. But to be off the ground was a little bit... Oh,
Shall we go through some of these?
yes, let's have a nosy at some of these and try and answer some questions. So, what's your favourite bit of kit? We'll go do that in a minute. Do you remember the bus with the ghost driver at the Transport Museum? Why isn't this expanding? Sorry, I'm just trying to... It's not... Keep pressing on the see more bit, and it's... I was the incident officer on the scene, now retired. Oh, I really want to read this. Why is it not doing it? Sorry, folks. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was all of it.
Now retired.
Right, so do you remember the bus with the ghost driver at the Transport Museum? I was the incident officer on the scene, now retired. Wow. Wow. So, in regards to our investigation there, how do you think it weighed up with what you know? Manxman, if you could tell us, please. What's your favourite piece of kit? I'll come to that in a minute. Hi, Chris. Hi, Kerry. Do you believe in haunted dolls or objects having attachments?
Definitely,
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, have come across a few. Actually have a... If anybody's seen the investigation that we did at... was it the Black Horse in Kent? I can't remember. I have a crystal still with a chap in it. Still haven't decided to rehome him yet. How do you feel when you first ever... paranormal experience location as a proper investigator? Oh, Lee, I loved it. My first proper official investigation was at a place called Artro in North Wales, and it was an RAF base, Second World War. Beautiful place. It was a museum. They had some of the original outbuildings. They had planes and tanks and helicopters out on the grounds. They had the original village hall, where the dances would have taken part between the RAF men and women. There was a morgue. The place was magnificent. And to be honest, as your first investigation, the bar was set incredibly high.
But you get sort of like palpitations, don't you? Because you're overexcited and you...
Well, you want it from every location afterwards.
You just expect it.
Once that bar's that high, it's hard to
match it. When I did my first, it was like I was excited. I was nervous, but I was excited. Didn't take me long to get into it, and then that was it. There's no stopping me.
From when she first started, she was a timid little mouse, to say a week later, where she's off with a camcorder, walking through dark buildings on her own with no fear. Yeah, I thought she's been possessed, this woman. So yeah, my Zartro. Cheers. Evening, Vic. Evening, Vic.
Hi, Vic.
Lindsay. I definitely think some people are more open, sensitive than others.
I've had quite a few experiences, mainly shadow figures. Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that to expand again. I don't know why it's not playing the game tonight. Yeah. I agree with you, Lindsay. Some people are more in tune to it than others. Grew up in a haunted house. The house was cursed. Every family that lived there had a family member die. Ooh, I'm trying to get the rest of this down, Alison. It's been... I don't know what's up with it. I keep pressing the see more to get... Oh, there we go. After we moved, no one stayed in the house very long.
Yeah, I bet they didn't.
I wonder why. what do you think of Alderley Edge? Lovely place. I think, you use your magic finger. There we go. How do you do that?
I don't know.
What do you think of Alderley Edge? I believe there is a cave up there. My dad said years ago the police used to stop people going up there on Halloween. Also, we have seen some dolls at the base of a tree and stones in a circle.
Oh,
yeah,
it's a witch thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Alderley Edge has been used for years by covens. They've gone up there and done all sorts. There are caves up there. I know somebody that's part of the caving team, and I think it was Alderley Edge that they found the Roman hoard. Found a huge Roman hoard of coins. So yeah, there are caves up there. It's a very magical mystery. Right, I'm going to try this again. Take 2. A very magical, mystical place. Got it. With a lot of legend. Weird place. I've only been up there once at night, and very, very, very odd. Let's have a look at this. Mari, I've had many experiences myself, but love hearing other people's. I'm a paranormal group myself. Yeah, do it again. Oh, I don't. How do you do that?
That's magic.
Don't like my fingers. And the stuff we've captured has blown my mind. Yes, I remember you showing me the footage of that phone on the banister. I have a question. I've seen other shows use a blacklight torch with success. Any thoughts about using it? Done it loads of times.
Is that the?
It's the UV.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've used blacklight quite a few times. Only a few times on the show. It's a camera thing. It doesn't come across too brilliantly. Used it at Galleries of Justice many years ago. Managed to capture some sort of movement with it in the cave, the pit. Oh, it's a freaky place, that is. It really is. Do like using UV. What's the most evil spirit or demon you have ever experienced? I can't really give you his name, Lee. He didn't introduce himself. But, I did a private house visit years ago where they were experiencing something pretty negative. I want to try and do this in 2 parts. If you're happy with doing this in 2 parts, because I'm sort of bringing you to a stage, and we'll have a cut off and talk about the kit, and then we'll do a bit more. So if you're happy to do this in 2 stages, give us a thumbs up so I know that you're happy with it, and we'll do it again. So we'll talk about the demonic stuff, the dark stuff, on the second session, if you're okay with that. We're okay,
yes,
Mary.
We're okay, Mary.
Thank you. Hope you are too, love. Use your finger on there. Just Jane's using a magic thing there. Look at that. Oh, now she does that. Mari, my son, is 4 and sees deceased family often. What a family he's never met. I worry that maybe it's too much for him, but he doesn't seem fazed by it at all. He's happy to talk about his experiences with me when he wants to. We have had a few incidents, though, recently when he said he's seen someone different who looks lost. What should I do? Do you know, if I could offer you a piece of advice, don't tell your child that it's his imagination. Children are very special. If they have this,
aren't they?
yeah, they're not programmed. They're not pre-programmed like we are. They don't have the.
They're innocent, basically. That's what it is, isn't it? And that's what people come to, the innocent, and that's when
so
they open up really up.
Encourage them, help with that, develop that gift. Just ask him to describe what it is that's he's seeing, and support him with it. This is where a closed mind starts to develop. If you try to shut them down, tell them it's all your imagination, don't be silly, whatever, encourage it. If you're in it, if you're doing this, chances are it's going to be a path that he may follow in time as well. So encourage it as you can. It was very true to the facts. Beck's here underneath the bus, may have been under the something. Thanks for that, Manx man. I know where you mean, in Wales, fab place. Are you talking about Mize, Sharon? Mize Artro? Can't type fast enough, can inbox more gruesome details if needed. Thank you, Manx. Yeah, I know it's a bit difficult to keep up with people.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Julie.
Hi,
Wendy.
Stephen.
Steve. Hello, Charlene.
Hi, Charlene.
How you doing? Long time no see. I know, well, it's all one way here. I can't see you. It is Jane.
Ah, you okay, love?
You're brave going to Old Edge at night. Yeah, brave or stupid. Operating Manxman phone as well as my own. He had a person underneath the bus where Bex heard the knocking. Oh, right. Wow. Really interesting. Can I watch your show?
Oh, well, we're on.
Yeah.
We've got Amazon Prime,
Pluto.
YouTube.
My5 app. We're all over the show. We're just, we spread it about. We're not shy.
Do that for
yes, you did. I did it. I did it.
Wow.
David Jones. I had a paranormal experience when I worked in security. It was bad not to go into an empty small room at the top of Victorian House converted into offices, which ended in an orb going past me. So I sat at my security desk. Amazing. Fantastic if you see them with your eyes.
It is, it's great.
I
saw an absolutely great one when we filmed at the mill. Oh, and it sort of like saw the camera and sort of like did a U-turn and then come back towards the camera.
Yeah, we caught some great light anomalies. We've got
the footage, but you're going to have to dig it out. That was absolutely amazing. Really was some amazing.
Karen Griswold, the spirits at the bus museum didn't like you much, Paul. I think that was the Lynx effect. What would be your advice you would give someone who thinks they have seen something but they don't want to admit they have? Well, don't touch it. Right, Sharon, what would be your advice you would give someone who thinks they have seen something but they don't want to admit they have seen something? Well, who are you going to admit it to, Sharon? At the end of the day, whatever you've experienced, it's your personal experience. Sorry?
I need to go to the loo.
You're joking. She wants to go to the toilet. You're not at the cinema now, you know.
I do need...
Everybody, come on. Right, I've just got to breathe in while she steps over me or steps on me. Can't believe she's done that, can you? Boo, Jane.
Babe, you have to go for a wee. You need to go.
You should have gone before we started.
I did. I'm 50.
Yeah. Your experience is yours. It's your personal experience. You don't have anything to prove to anybody. If you're afraid of telling somebody because you think they're going to ridicule you, not believe you, take the mickey out of you, well, that's people for you. That's, unless people see it with their own eyes, a lot of people are very dismissive of it. But if you're not trying to prove anything to anybody, what does it matter? It's your experience. As long as it didn't frighten you, didn't hurt you, you've got nothing to worry about, Sharon. So I really wouldn't stress about it. If you want to tell me, tell me. I'm a good listener. Always interesting to hear other points of view. Thanks, Bear. Had a great experience at Galleries of Justice. Saw 3 full apparitions in the entrance hallway. Wow, well done, David. It's an amazing place, one of my favourites. Thank you for your advice. Take it on board. You're very welcome. Getting an early night. Oh, it's not even midnight yet. It comes to us all, Jade. I'm in the same. Here's my very in-depth question. I might have to wait till Jade. Oh, hang on, no, I've done it. With what's happening in the world right now, how will it affect the spirit world? Spirits and ghosts need energy, and with everyone just about locked down and places closed, where will they get all that energy from? I think it depends on what they want the energy for. They don't necessarily rely on us for their energy because they're already there. It just depends on what they're going to do with that energy. Are they going to try and manifest? Are they going to try and move something, touch somebody? But that energy already exists. I think it's like the question, if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a noise? It's there and it's going to do something. Just because you're not there to witness it doesn't mean it's not going to happen anyway. So I believe that they exist whether we're there or not. Jane's back. Everybody, round of applause.
Oh. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
I'm in. mean,
Hey, honestly.
squeaky clean hands now, guys.
My other half said he's seen the same thing, but said it's friendly. There's a child going off the height of it. Cool, as long as it's friendly and, no problems with it.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Ian. You okay?
Hey, mate, you okay? Missing the darts, mate, I tell you.
I've been thrashing him at it.
Yeah, and then she woke up. So, quick chat about a few pieces of kit if you're interested. Give us a thumbs up if you're interested. You want to talk about some kit. Let's see some thumbs. Can doing EVP work at home lead to your home being haunted? That's a good question. I personally don't recommend you do anything in your own home if it isn't, just because you can attract. I lived in another. Say again.
Negative energy.
Well, yeah, you don't always know what you're getting in, so it's another reason why I am very much down on Ouija boards. Will not touch them. Don't use PayPal. Yeah, that is just evil incarnate, mate. I tell you. But I wouldn't, unless there's something going on in there already, I wouldn't do it to prompt something to happen. I think your home's your sanctuary.
It's your protective bubble, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so that
we go out to these places, we investigate things, and then we go home safely, no extra bodies, nothing attached, back to our sanctuary, and that's where it should stay. EVP, absolutely fantastic. I love EVP. To me, it's one of the best pieces of evidence that you can actually gather from the paranormal. If you're in an empty room and there's nobody else about and you're asking a question, you get a relevant answer on something like this.
Do you know what mine is?
Go on.
My eyes.
Oh, she likes her.
My eyes.
The only problem with that is you can't put them into a computer and download what you've seen.
The thing is, if you've got to be able to, I've got to be able to see something with my eyes. Like I saw that orb, and I could actually see it with my own eyes. Yeah. So that's probably my best piece of kit is my own eyes.
The thing is that's brilliant, but you also captured it on camera.
I know, yeah.
If you'd only seen it with your eyes, it's a personal experience. But once you've caught it as well, you can tell the story about it and then say, and by the way, this is what it was. So, but EVP, love EVP. Our house is haunted. I do EVP all the time. We are so used to our ghostly lodges. Great stuff. That's fantastic. If you've already got it going on, and there's no harm, is there? I didn't know if you had something living with you already, but obviously you have.
Bear's just
and EVP is brilliant.
Great questions, gang. Thank you, Bear.
I'm just gonna. Somebody's asking about the Ovilus. Yeah, I've got to say this comes in for some stick. And although we don't know the exact science behind it, it's given us some absolutely brilliant evidence. I was actually talking to Jane about this earlier on, about one of the places that we filmed at was the farm. The village, sorry.
Oh, the village, yeah.
The village in Skegness, I think it was. And it's a plot of land and it's got buildings that have been brought there, and it's a museum kind of place now. And I got to go and have a look in one of the outbuildings where they had a huge steam engine. They had a trap and a few other bits and pieces. And the Ovilus was talking to me. I said, I can't remember what I said, but, what's this? And it comes up with trap. And there's a carriage there which would be known as a pony and trap. And then it comes up with engine. There's a ruddy, great big steam engine there. Came up with a few relevant bits, but at one point it said shoot. That's the one, Village Skeggy. It came up with shoot, and I said, oh no, please don't shoot me. And then it went, all right. So to me, sense of humour as well, and it wasn't a case of it was a long pause or I wasn't trying to make things fit. It was literally, I'm asking questions and I'm getting good responses from the Ovilus. Sometimes it'll go off on a tangent, doesn't make sense, but when it's like that, I think,
dead accurate, doesn't
I
it?
just think to myself, wow, what an amazing piece of kit.
Just going to go back to some of these now. Mary, can a spirit attach themselves to a person? Yes, they definitely can.
Oh, yes, yeah.
There's a lot of people that come out with attachments that have to have them cleared, don't they?
Yeah, I've had one.
I haven't had one.
No, I try to make sure everybody's safe and don't get them. But did you see that orb?
Yeah.
Did you see it? Is there anybody there? I had one for quite a few years before I actually knew what an attachment was, and it was screwing my life up. But then I met somebody that instantly recognised I had one and took me to see somebody that knew what they were doing, got it off me. Honestly, it's a complete 180 on my life. Everything changed better. But I've removed a few because I got trained how to take them off as well.
You removed one from your mum, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
One from his mum.
Stuart Marshall, who is always will be one of my best friends, who passed last year. We did a lot of work together, and he's sorely missed.
You up there,
So,
Stuart's
I hope he's watching
he'll
us.
be watching us.
Sorry. So spirits can definitely or things. In fact, I want to change that. I want to change that, because everything that I've come across that's been an attachment hasn't been a spirit. It's never been a person. It's been a thing.
Yeah.
So it's it would blow your mind if you actually saw what some of these things are. Because they've never been people. They will try to portray themselves as, but if you know what you can see, if you know how they look, if you know what you're looking for and at, you'll see that's not a person, that's a thing. And the purpose generally of an attachment is to literally suck the life out of you until you're just an empty shell and you're dead. There's never any good purpose to that sort of attachment. So, hi, Ania.
Hi, Nia.
So, yeah. They can attach, but things rather than people. Village Scare, yeah, great piece, thank you. Is there a good app to use on your phone to get... apps are very... it's a dodgy area. The Alice box is pretty good. I've had some good responses, relevant stuff. This is the way I rate them, you see. If it's relevant, then there's something to it. But a lot of the apps are a bit... Not a big fan of them.
Do you rate the new or older version of the Ovilus?
The 3 is fantastic. I've got the 4. The 4's only come out a couple of times, and it's good, but for me, the 3. I've seen the 5 in use, wasn't impressed, to be honest. I've got the PX. The PX has got some good functions on it. And for its time, it was really good as well. For like the Ovilus, but I love the 3. That to me is my favourite. So, what did it? Our house is haunted. Thought it. Manx man standing at the kitchen door when we went back to the front room to see him sitting there. 3 minutes later, lights get turned off, things get thrown. Or go missing. Yeah, that sounds like you might have a haunted house there.
Yeah, bit mischievous there.
Yeah. It looks. It's the piece of equipment that only uses swear words when I use it. Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Also the spirit box. Yes, I like the SB7.
Does it make a
makes loud sounds with voice in the background? It's radio station, so it's constantly skipping. But if you get sentences or relevant words, it's pretty good. The first time I used one, in fact, it wasn't the SB7, it was the Shack Hack ghost box, and we used it in a place in Liverpool, Gormont Theatre, first time. It was a conversation. It literally was a conversation. Whoever was talking to us was just answering our questions. It was literally back and forth. One of the best ones that I've ever had, and of course we didn't video it. Here's your phone's inbuilt voice recorder. It works just as great as anything I've captured. Let's try. Oh, it's my finger, it's not my thumb. I've captured some brilliant EVPs lately. Most recent, as I stood outside an abandoned mental health hospital. I won't ask why you were there. Not far from where I live here in Northern Ireland. Heard a breeze behind me. Saw bushes rustle. He's a bugger, that Russell, for getting in them bushes.
Yeah, very, very.
Then felt something stand beside me. I heard nothing with my ears, but my recorder caught a male voice saying, "I see you." Awesome. Good catch. like the spirit box and the touch torches. Yeah, good ones.
Good.
Good evening, miss you. Glad you're safe. You're a lousy shot, Chris, if you missed. Phil. Hiya, Phil. How you doing,
Phil.
mate? Oh, my finger again, isn't it? Go on. Nice talking to you guys. I'm off for some sleep now. But yeah, you're not supposed to use this as a bedtime story, you know.
Suffering for some horrid virus at the moment, thanks to
Stay safe, Roxanne. I hope you're okay,
I
love.
do as well.
I love the episode at St James Cemetery. Yeah, it was a good one. In Liverpool, saw a ghostly apparition there wearing a top hat and tails, plus her chains there. It's very creepy. It is indeed. Very, very freaky place. I like how the course of the live Paul is slowly being edged out of shot. She's got a big bum.
Who?
Who?
Is it me?
Who?
Oh,
Great to
sorry.
see it, Matt. It was a pleasure to be there, Phil. I enjoyed it. So hoping to get there and film soon, hopefully, with this virus and everything. Doors opening at East Drive. Yes, that did make us all twitch a little bit. Where can you buy the different kit? eBay. The States have a lot of good stuff, but you will get hit hard with customs charges.
Isn't Sean making his own?
Yeah, Sean's building some kits. So have a look at what he's got. But yeah, you just have to shop around, mate, I'm afraid. Love the SLS camera. Yeah, it's a good one. How do you get rid of those things that attach themselves to you that have never been human? Not something I can really go into over this because it's all to do with energy and visualization and all that kind of stuff. It's not easy. It took me a while to figure it out, to learn, but yeah, you can have a battle because at the end of the day, of a fashion, they are a living thing, and the last thing that they want to do is be taken off their host, and that's where it gets to be a bit of a battle. But if you can get them off you or off whoever, it literally is life changing, because all they are designed for is to destroy you. So I hope to hopefully get there when this is all over, Phil. Would the team ever do Newsham? We all have, separately.
Yeah. Well, we've done it, haven't we?
Yeah, Sean.
Let me do it.
Yeah. Sean and Bex have done Newsham quite a few times, and they've caught some amazing evidence. Jane and myself have only been once, but wow, cracking place.
Amazing place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I went in the where the mortuary is, the slabs. I actually put myself in there.
She did.
Yeah, it was very good. And then I went underground where they burnt all the bodies and all the ashes and that went down there. So yeah, I put myself in there as well.
Have you done Walton Manor? We were fed Benning Call there with seeing facing the windows.
Where's that? Walton Manor?
Walton Manor. I've been to... Is Walton Manor the same as Walton Hall? Newsham is evil.
It is evil, yeah.
It's got some dark bits.
It has. Brave lady.
Yeah, I've been to Walton Hall. I went to see a medium there one night. I won't go into it. It was appalling. But not investigated it. Not as yet, anyway. So, has anybody got any questions? Because I think we'll wrap this up now. Because in a few minutes, Sean is uploading tonight's footage onto either is it YouTube or Facebook?
YouTube.
It's one of them.
I think it's YouTube and then Facebook.
Yeah.
I think it's that way. Don't count me on it, but you know.
Have a look anyway. It'll be on here. Sean set it up. So Jane and Bex are great together. Jane should do more with Bex on locations. Great viewing.
Thank you.
We'll see what we can sort out.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the moment we aren't filming for obvious reasons. As soon as everything calms down, we'll hopefully get back out there. We've got some places lined up, which obviously we've not been able to do. What SLS software do you use? Now, I've got the SLS that isn't the Xbox Connect one.
No, it's not.
Mine's the proper
SLS.
Bill Chappell one. So, yeah, it's Morecambe Winter Gardens.
No, that's supposed to be a good place.
Morecambe Winter Gardens, good place. So, yeah, the software for the Xbox One, you just have to Google it. It's on there. I can't remember what it is, but mine's a different one. Thank you. Glad you enjoy it, Alison.
Thanks, Alison.
So we're going to wrap up now. just before we go, just want to say thank you very much to our NHS staff, doctors, nurses, cleaners, the key workers, the people that are putting the food out there on the shelves, keeping the country going, putting themselves in harm's way. We do very much appreciate that.
One, guys. Thank you.
And if you would like to have part 2 of this, because I've got some more stories to tell, some funny, some not so funny, please, thank you for all the loves and the likes. Really appreciate that. But if you'd like to do this again, then we'll do it again next weekend, and we'll hopefully, not literally, see you on the other side.
Wow.
But anyway, stay safe, guys. Follow the guidelines. Stay indoors. Minimise going out. Save lives.
No investigations, guys.
No.
Stay in.
Don't be going out.
Keep everybody safe. Remember your loved ones.
So we're just going to go now because it's just popped up. The video's premiering. So listen, you take care, guys.
Thank you.
We will see you very soon. Much love.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.